Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Here are 9 style tips to help you wear more color in your everyday outfits. No matter if your style is very neutral and you just want to broaden your neutral palette, or whether your style is very vibrant and colorful, these 9 style tips will make it easier for you to approach color for your everyday outfits. The thing about color is that we can all put on color and be out the door, but I find that we tend to have lots of questions surrounding color that often stop us from wearing it. For example, what colors I look good in and which colors I should choose. We might have had colorful pieces in the past and they just never got that much wear, so we're hesitant to bring more color into our wardrobe. And then we also might have heard some people say that colors are not as elevated or stylish as neutrals, and hopefully by the end of today's video you will kind of change your mind about some of these things and see how wonderful and versatile color can be. So before we get started with today's video, I've been doing this series on Instagram. I must have shared hundreds of color combinations by now, but if you're looking to get started with some tried and tested combinations to wear, check out my series there and I'll put my handle on the screen. One of the easiest ways to wear color and to make it feel really chic is to always mix color and texture together. So one of the reasons why when I was growing up I feel like color was kind of hard to wear was because a lot of my inspo was of like turquoise cotton tops with white jeans, and this is a combination that doesn't feel super chic to me because both of these textures are really flat and it just makes the outfit feel a little bit bland, not because of the colors but mostly because of the lack of texture. So learning from this, one of the things that you can do to make any colorful outfit feel luxurious is to mix a colorful item with texture. In this outfit combination, both the blue top and the brown trousers, they both have quite a bit of texture to it and it just makes it feel so much more elevated. A lot of us might already own a lot of colorful pieces that are not in textures, and that is completely okay. Like I'm wearing this t-shirt, very flat cotton fabric, and I just like to pair it with textured items to really make it feel elevated. Not every piece we're wearing has to be textured. We can have a mix of flat and textured, but the point is we should have texture in all of our outfits. It's actually not as obvious on camera as it is in real life, but the difference between no texture and texture just makes outfits feel so much more chic. One of the outfits I've been wearing recently is this sparkly purple top with this white skirt. I've repeated this combination a few times and I love that texture going on in the top, and then the skirt is obviously very smooth flat, but they go well together. Wearing different textures improves any outfit we're wearing, so next time you're putting together a colorful look, give this one a try, and I feel like it tends to make my outfits 10 times better. I have spoken in the past quite positively about my color analysis, and for today's video I wanted to talk about an additional benefit from getting my colors analyzed. So not only does it tell me my best colors and what colors work for me, it's also made my wardrobe so much more cohesive. I was given this kind of color palette and about 60% of my wardrobe these days fits into this palette. The other 40% are colors that are maybe in nearby palettes that are not my best colors, but they still work decently okay. So the benefits of getting my colors done is not just that I know which are my best colors, but the fact that my whole wardrobe feels more cohesive within a palette. And it makes mixing and matching and wearing color so much easier. If I compare my wardrobe now to what it used to be, I used to have a lot of fuchsia, very cool tone colors, and then went all the way to extremely warm. So because there was so much range in the undertone, it made it quite hard to mix and match freely. Whereas my colors now sit in that neutral category, neutral slightly warm, neutral slightly cool. And because the range is much smaller, it has made it so much easier to work with color. This can definitely apply to your wardrobe, so if you sit very warm, then you might only work with the neutral to warm family. If you sit very cool, you might work from neutral to very cool. Even if I'm wearing greens and reds and orange and blues, if the undertone somewhat matches, they become so much more easy to style. And beyond that, these colors tend to suit me more, so I feel more confident wearing them as well. The thing I always hear is that we should just wear the colors that we like. And the great thing about this system is that it doesn't exclude any color from anyone's palette. If you love blues, no matter if you're a summer, winter, autumn, spring, it will be a part of your palette. You might have to go with a slightly different undertone, but you can definitely wear the color. If you love a slightly more cool blue and you're warm, even though it's not a part of your palette, you can make it slightly warmer and it will already suit you a lot more. The way that I like to use these tools and systems is in a way that will really help me approach color more easily. So don't feel like you need to be tied down to your exact recommendations, but to use what you've learned to guide you in your color picks. So getting my colors analyzed not only taught me what colors I look best in, but it actually creates so much more cohesiveness in my wardrobe, and it's made my wardrobe more versatile than it used to be. Because now now all the colors, even though they're very different, they have a smaller range of undertone, making it easier to mix and match. If you want to wear more color, one of my biggest tips for you is to work with complementary colors. And the way I style complementary colors might be a little bit different to what you expect. When I was getting started, the idea of complementary colors was a little bit daunting because I was thinking about wearing blue and orange, purple and yellow, and they just felt too bold for my everyday style. In past videos, I think I've also said that complementary colors is what I do when I want a bolder combination. This is no longer the case, and I wear complementary colors pretty much in my everyday looks, and this is how. If I'm wearing a brown sweater that falls somewhere here on the color wheel, and I'm looking at what colors to pair with it, I'll go directly opposite, consider those colors and the ones basically to the left and right of that section. If the color I'm starting with is intense or dark, I might also look at some muted versions on the opposite side. So it's not always I'm wearing complementary colors that are very bold, but sometimes I'm wearing complementary colors that are more subtle and muted. There are two things here that have been transformative for me. Instead of thinking of complementary colors as very bright combinations, they can obviously be muted versions of the bright color. The second thing is that not only looking directly opposite, but also at the color palettes to the left and to the right of the color we're pairing it with. This gives us more range, and sometimes it's also a little bit more subtle. This is one of my favorite color combinations to wear together. I think it looks really, really fresh, and they bring each other out perfectly. Another way to feel inspired by the color wheel is to work with analogous colors. So in this case, blue and gray are very close to each other on the color wheel, so I'm using an analogous color pairing here. And then with my bag choice here, it's again complementary. So you can even combine these within one outfit. This is my number one trick when working with color. It gives me so much inspiration, and I feel like the color combinations never die down when I'm using color in this way. It's also very established in art, so we can be sure that these colors, they always work together. Another style tip I have to wear more color is to consider how cool and warm colors together can actually accentuate each other and create more interest. One of the easiest ways to think about this is through metals and jewelry. So I really love the way gold jewelry looks with cool tones. It makes the gold jewelry just shine, and somehow it brings out the delicate feeling of the cool tone shade. And then if I'm wearing silver jewelry with very warm clothing pieces, it again just brings each other out in the best way possible. Sometimes wearing cool and cool colors together, warm and warm, means that they get lost in each other, whereas combining cool and warm actually accentuates both in the most positive, beautiful way. Something very personal I've noticed from experimenting over the years is that if I'm wearing two colors that are very close together and there's not a lot of contrast between the shades, for example, like an orange and a burgundy, I don't love when there's low contrast and a mix of cool and warm shades. However, when there is enough contrast, I think that mixing cool and warm together is so incredibly stunning, and it just accentuates each other in the best way possible. So do go give this one a try, especially with jewelry pieces. If you have a very warm outfit, try a silver based metal. And then if you have a very cool outfit, try a gold based metal. And this means that we can sometimes get some wear from the pieces that we're not wearing in our jewelry collection, but also it looks really beautiful together. One of the best tips I have for wearing brighter colors for your everyday style is to always mix it with muted shades. I was ignoring these muted shades for a long time because I actually don't love them by themselves. I prefer kind of more intense colors. But what I find is that if I wear these bright shades with black or white, it feels really jarring, and sometimes I don't feel like the colors are really enhancing each other, or it just feels too strong for my daily style. And the way to go around this is to always mix in these murkier, muted, neutral tones. This tip is based off the Tibi color wheel. I learned it from their style classes, and I find it so inspiring. Any of the colors on the outside wheel, so ring 4, will mix with ring 3, and they will go so well together. This is a tip that's really about how to wear bright colors in a way that feels harmonious with everyday, more subtle style. Whereas if you want to create a bold statement look, then it might not be so bad to mix it with black and white for just extreme contrast. But the way that I prefer to wear my brights is definitely with these muted tones, because I think they bring each other out. It looks really harmonious, and it gives us so many combinations to play with. Pretty much any of the colors on that muted wheel will work with bright colors, so the options here are endless. So if this taupey lilac-y top, I love pairing with the red and the purple, which are more vibrant shades. And I also love this deeper khaki to go with the red. There's been a mix in the style tips I'm sharing. Half of them are about how to come up with combinations, and then the other half is how to make the colors we choose suit us more. So one of the big things that will make color combinations suit us more is considering the contrast level of the colors we're choosing. I want to show you here what high, medium, and low contrast would look like. If you want to know the contrast level of an outfit, imagine a photo of your outfit was printed out on a black and white printer. If there's high contrast, one will show up closer to white and the other black. If there's low contrast, it would all be kind of the same shade. What I'm showing you here with contrast is obviously just mixing black and white, which is not a lot of color, but you can basically apply this rule to any color you're wearing. So with high contrast, you might be pairing a lighter color with a darker color, and this can be basically any shade. With low contrast, you might be pairing two light colors together or two dark colors together, but basically having a smaller difference between the colors we're choosing. And this is one of the things that will make the color combinations we choose suit us more or less. The way that we decide which contrast level suits us is that we look at our own features. I have very dark hair, I have fairly pale skin, and there's quite a bit of contrast between my features. So because of that, I try to recreate this high contrast in my outfit, and that will look the most natural on me. Whereas if my skin was more medium tone and I had like brown eyes that were medium brown, then I would be very low contrast. So I would then go for a lower contrast outfit. I have found this to be so helpful because as someone with high contrast, when I wear low contrast, it honestly all looks a little bit muddy and not defined enough. Whereas when I wear high contrast, it looks so much more natural. Again, we can use this tip for any color combination we're wearing, and this one has made a big difference to me because outfits just look so much better when I honor the contrast levels I have. Within our own contrast levels, something else to know is that, of course, as we go higher contrast, outfits become more dramatic. Lower contrast, outfits become more subtle. So I will usually move between a range of contrast levels, depending on the situation and vibe I want to create as well. But I'll almost never go completely to the other side. Everything about color and choosing a color palette is to do with our own preference and style. But I do want to share with you some of my favorite colors to wear, and some colors I find easier to get started with compared to others. Take this with a grain of salt, and when I say get started with, I don't mean just go buy your wardrobe in these colors, but maybe you can try these on when you're in store. Something that always feels natural, luxurious, elevated for me are earth tones. And the idea is that because these colors occur in nature, it just makes them more harmonious to look at, and they just feel more natural and closer to neutrals. We see these colors every day, whether we're talking about a light blue, a green, a brown, a rust, a yellow. These are colors that occur frequently around us, and I think that it makes it easier to wear. The reason I find these easy to wear is because all of these earth tones go together. And the reasoning behind this is that they occur together in nature, so they are all harmonious when worn together. If we compare earth tones to jewel tones may also be incredibly stunning, but they don't have that, I think, naturalness and ease of wear that maybe earth tones have. Something else to consider is that every color has a neutral variation. So what I mean is that if we take something like red, we can go for a warm red, a cool red, or more of a neutral red. The same goes for blues, greens, purples, any color. So if you're not sure which colors suit you the best, the neutral one is the most safe because it doesn't matter which side you fall, it will tend to look good regardless. When I say neutral, I don't mean like a scientific system of finding the most neutral, but somewhere in that neutral range is a good place to start. If you're ever shopping in Seoul, which I actually very rarely do these days, I also like to just take a cool version of a color, take a warm version of a color, and if I do a comparison, there's always one that looks significantly better than the other. And it's very telling of what your undertone is and what will suit you obviously more. When I was starting out wearing color, one of the thoughts in my head was, how many colors do I wear in an outfit and when is it too much? So I really want to refer to this rule of 1 ton or none. And it's again in this Tibi style book, The Creative Pragmatist, and it's a rule that's really helped me wearing color. So the idea is that in an outfit, we either have one, which means that our eye is drawn to one key piece, or one bright pop of color in an outfit. We can have ton, so this means tons of color, everything is like a key piece. And somehow in this outfit, everything ends up coming together, even though each individual piece is kind of a statement. And then we can also have none, which doesn't mean like really boring, everything is bland, but rather our eye doesn't really focus on any one element. There is nothing that really draws our attention above others, so it ends up all coming together as one outfit. I think this is a rule of design that is hard to explain, but one key piece feels great. All key pieces looks really chic. When our eye doesn't rest on anything, it's a mix of like slightly elevated pieces that don't feel too statement, it also just comes together perfectly. But the moment we maybe have 2 pops of color, it can feel a little bit awkward. So this is a really great guide if you're getting started. As you get more confident in styling color, you'll know what you like, and I think these rules don't necessarily have to apply anymore. So finally, to wrap up today's video, I want to talk about color, personal style, and mood. Every personal style, and I feel like style word, can actually have colors tied to it. So for example, effortless. I definitely do see a color palette in my head of very soft colors, of like blues, calming colors, instead of very bright and vibrant shades. Words like classic, I can't help but think of reds and blues. Playful, I think of yellow and very bright shades. And because every style has colors associated with it, I think that based on our personal style, certain colors are just going to look better than others. And it goes beyond skin tone and coloring to what our actual aesthetic and style is. So if you ever feel disheartened that certain colors are not your ideal colors, if they suit your personal style really well, chances are they will actually still look really good. I also often observe that based on our personality and our personal style, we just tend to gravitate towards colors that suit us. So I often have a friend who's just like very calm in personality, wearing these soft muted colors that fit them perfectly. And I'll know lots of more extroverted people wearing these brighter, bolder combinations. And there is something about this that is completely unplanned, yet it just shows through in our choices. So it's not just that we wear the colors that suit our personal style, but sometimes the colors we gravitate towards can be very telling of our personal style as well. It works both ways. I also want to say that color and mood is so interconnected. So when we want to create a different mood for a different event, we can use color to create that. Red can be very sultry, bright colors can feel very powerful, soft colors can feel very harmonious, calm. Color palettes can also lean like more conservative, classic, or more modern and contemporary, and there is so much we can convey with color alone. So I think I'll end my video here. It's been a long one. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned something new, I would love for you to go like this video, subscribe, and do go check out my Instagram where I've shared hundreds, literally hundreds of combinations. You'll find it under my reels, and chances are it'll help you style pieces you already have. Let me know in the comments your favorite colors so I can style these more in the future, and I'll see you next week. Bye.